Is he this gangster that behind the scenes is that him? Or is that
Shout out to Wendy Williams.
But tell me, man, why do you believe that Jay and Puffy is close, even though Jay's lawyer came out and said they're not?
Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment.
Shakur. The name alone is enough to make the internet.
The internet feels like it's collapsing under the weight of one story. This week, the shockwaves have been nothing short of nuclear. For nearly 3 decades, the world accepted that he was gone, the victim of a Vegas drive-by, a casualty of the East Coast, West Coast war. But now, social media is ablaze with a claim too wild to ignore. Tupac Shakur has returned. Not a blurry nightclub photo. Not a grainy Havana snapshot with a cigar. This time, the story is bigger, louder, that he's alive, furious, and ready to bring down the twin empires of Jay-Z and Diddy. Hashtags like hashtag.
And that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother.
We watch the chaos unfold online.
Online, the story is unfolding like wildfire. Shaky videos, grainy screenshots, and alleged sightings of a man uncannily resembling Shakur strolling through Havana are flooding the feed. Old conspiracy clips are resurfacing, while so-called bodyguard confessions are being dissected frame by frame. And one phrase keeps ricocheting across timelines. He didn't come back to rap. He came back for revenge. For fans who grew up on Machiavelli, the whispers feel almost prophetic. His disappearance, they say, was never a tragedy but a strategy, a calculated exile in Cuba, shielded by political allies, gathering evidence against his enemies. The hints were always there. A coroner's report that didn't match his height, a cremator who vanished after the supposed cremation, Suge Knight insisting Shakur never died. Now, the rumor is that Shakur's 3 decades of silence are about to rupture, and the first casualties will be the carefully built legacies of Jay-Z and Diddy. At the center of the storm is talk of a manuscript, a so-called fatality memoir whispered about for years like a forbidden text, said to be locked in Cuban vaults. Industry insiders claim it doesn't just spill secrets, it detonates them. Names named, conspiracies mapped, betrayals exposed.
I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background.
Fingers pointed directly at those who profited from his disappearance. If the manuscript is real, it won't just rewrite history, it will blow it wide open. Rumor has it, it details not only what happened that night in Vegas, but the fallout that reshaped the entire industry. And now, the question looms heavy. Why are Jay-Z and Diddy, 2 of hip-hop's untouchable moguls, suddenly so desperate to keep it buried? And then comes the second bombshell, darker than any rumored manuscript. For years, whispers about hidden recordings, secret tapes Shakur allegedly made before '96 have floated in the underground. But now, the noise is deafening. These aren't demos or unfinished verses. The claim is far more sinister. Private conversations where Jay-Z and Diddy are caught admitting to corruption, orchestrated violence, and cover-ups that make Watergate look like a playground scuffle. If those tapes are real, and if they surface, everything they've built could collapse overnight. Billion-dollar brands, sports agencies, streaming empires, all reduced to ash. Picture it. Jay-Z, the former hustler who once preached about re-ups and deals, suddenly hearing his own voice from decades past replayed in courtrooms and across news broadcasts. Diddy, already suffocating under lawsuits and headlines, now tied not just to wild parties, but to the original sin, hip-hop's most haunting mystery.
So that's just competitive.
Competitiveness. All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him.
Okay,
like
damn,
that.
all right. I didn't know what that meant.
Okay,
All right, okay.
The timing couldn't be worse. Jay-Z's carefully crafted evolution, from Marcy Project's crackslinger to polished chief visionary of a green luxury empire, is unraveling. The man who proudly launched his herbal wellness startup as a brand of dignity, care, and consistency may now see that same past resurrected, not as redemption, but as evidence of a career greased with betrayal and backroom deals. And the critics aren't the only ones sharpening knives. 50 Cent, ever eager to pour gasoline on the fire, mocked Jay-Z's loyalty to Diddy, posting, "Friends to the end, Jay, are you still there?" alongside cryptic explosions and intimidation memes. Social media devoured it, a brutal reminder that in today's climate, friendship with Diddy looks less like loyalty and more like liability. Meanwhile, Diddy's empire is collapsing under its own weight. Once the kingpin who called the shots at Bad Boy Records, he's now the target of federal indictments, accused of running what prosecutors describe as a criminal enterprise fueled by racketeering, trafficking, and coercion. The courtroom stories are harrowing, the kind that make even seasoned veterans shift in their seats. Witnesses vanish. Others hesitate. But the cases keep piling up, uglier with each new filing. Behind the scenes, lawyers whisper about hush money settlements, multi-million-dollar NDAs, and unreleased footage from those infamous freak-offs. And now, layered on top of it all, comes the most surreal twist yet, the supposed resurrection of Shakur, a figure pointing an accusing finger from beyond the grave. If prosecutors are already drawing comparisons between Diddy's world and Jeffrey Epstein's, then the whispers of Shakur's hidden tapes said to prove Diddy's hand in violence, cover-ups, and worse, could be the final blow. The conspiracies are colliding in ways that make the entire industry tremble. On TikTok, theorists have gone further, weaving Jay-Z, Diddy, even Beyoncé, into a chilling pattern. They point to the deaths of Aaliyah, Left Eye, and Michael Jackson, all on the 25th of different months. Coincidence or...
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
or coded ritual. The speculation only grows darker. Some claim Beyoncé's near-religious adoration at award shows, Adele breaking trophies in her honor, fans bowing in worship, is not just fandom, but allegiance to a hidden network. The evidence is flimsy, but the virality is undeniable. And when those theories overlap with whispers of Shakur's secret tapes, the unthinkable begins to feel, at least to some, plausible. After all, if Shakur really staged his own disappearance, survived in Cuba under Castro's protection, and is now ready to leak decades of secrets, then who's to say the other puzzle pieces aren't connected too? The tension ratchets higher with every leaked scrap of information. In one covertly recorded police interview, Diddy's name was mentioned 47 times in connection to Shakur's 1996 drive-by. A Southside affiliate now awaiting trial even claimed Diddy once offered millions for the heads of both Shakur and Suge Knight. For years the story was dismissed as pure fiction. But now, as prosecutors quietly draw lines between Diddy's trafficking...
or the opening move in a war that's only now reaching its climax.
A lot of potential. Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in. Because, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do. But some people are around.
Case and Shakur's unsolved shooting, the dots begin to connect in chilling ways. And maybe it won't matter if the truth is never proven in a courtroom, because the court of public opinion is already deliberating, and its verdict is damning. The industry now stands on shaking ground, its walls caving in. Jay-Z, who once confessed in Vanity Fair that he sold crack just to buy clothes and survive, now finds himself shadowed by accusations of far darker deeds. Diddy, the architect of champagne-soaked parties and Ciroc-fueled luxury, faces a future that legal experts warn could stretch into life behind bars. And looming above them both, like a ghost refusing burial, is Shakur, whether flesh and blood or myth made manifest, threatening to topple everything with memoirs, tapes, and truths the powerful never wanted revealed. So the questions grow louder. Is Shakur back to settle the ultimate score? And can the music industry survive the fallout? For decades, the world believed his story ended on the Vegas Strip. But those who have followed the trail insist the ending was camouflage. Whispers tell of powerful figures.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
Desperate to erase him, and of Shakur faking his own exit as the only way out. Former security operatives speak of late-night flights to the Caribbean, of Castro offering sanctuary in Havana, of body doubles sealing the illusion. If that is true, then Shakur didn't just survive. He executed the longest, most dangerous play in music history. Not as a victim, but as a strategist. Because the Whispers claim one chilling thing: a hit had been ordered by men who feared what he knew. Which leaves us with the ultimate question: was his disappearance an act of desperate self-preservation, or the opening move in a war that's only now reaching its climax?